Mac and Shar are brothers who have been making music together since childhood. As a country pop duo, they have released several infectious singles such as Best Thing, and they have now released their debut album as a duo called New Problems. And I'm going to end up asking them about most of the songs because they're so great. I want to ask about the stories. Hello, Shar. Hello, Mac.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having us.
Good to see you again, but I'm going to actually not go to the album immediately. I'm going to ask how your Denny Ute Muster was.
I mean, Denny is an absolutely different kettle of fish. I mean, we went there not knowing what to expect. We
It was
kind of
really funny. It was really funny because we drove down and you come to the outskirts of Denny, and then it takes you about an hour to get to just the edge of Denny, and then it takes another hour to get into Denny.
Well, because of the amount of utes that are going
Yes.
in.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of utes. Can confirm
A lot
it
of
is
flags.
definitely a ute muster. And I mean, it was awesome. I think it was sold out. So it was like about 20,000 people there. And it was just busy. It was loud. It was fun. I mean, it was just all around amazing. We would love to go back, if not as artists, as just festival goers, because it was just incredible. It was a really fun experience. We had a lot of time to walk around, which was nice. We don't get a lot of that normally, and we just loved it. It was so cool.
Because were you staying on site?
We didn't stay on site, mainly because I'm a prima donna and I don't do camping very well. I'll take the blame
I
for that
would have
one.
done it. Don't worry, I would have done it.
No, I was also thinking of the logistics of if it took you that long to get in there. It was like every day you're going out 2 hours.
We only went for the one day, so
Okay.
that was like because we played on the Friday, so we stayed on the Friday. And it was like it was awesome. But I the thing about me and everyone, I'm gonna get so much about it. Everyone always makes fun of it. I don't like. Okay, I'm gonna commit a sin, a country music sin. I'm not a camper. I don't love camping.
Mac, I'm right there with you. I don't do Gympie because I'm like people keep saying go to Gympie. I'm like, no, if I have to stay on site, I'm not doing
Despicable,
it.
Mac. I cannot believe you.
I just am too much of a I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I have a bad back, so that's why.
Oh,
Some of us also like to have our bathrooms to ourselves, just
There's
quite.
that. There is that. That is it. That is the reason. I didn't want to say
the world
it.
is your bathroom.
True, except the problem, okay, we're going down a path here, but let's continue. So the issue though is when you're in a place like Denny or Gympie, I don't think ducking behind the tree is an option. Now, if ducking behind the tree were an option, I'd be fine with that. But instead you're forced into the large communal bathroom. I'm not into it.
You can duck behind the tree, but there'll be like 40 rows of tents behind the tree as well.
Exactly. Exactly. That's yeah, the trees are well beyond where anyone can go. So now
Yes.
we have gone down this path. Let's pivot to Broadbeach on the Gold Coast because
Yes.
that's the more salubrious surrounding, I think. How was groundwater?
That was cool. I mean, like just you look at the photos online of groundwater, and it's sort of this weird, surreal thing because it's like surface paradise, skyscrapers, country music. Like
And
it doesn't,
beach, like
yeah,
literally
right.
right next to it. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic. It was so cool to be up there. We met a lot of people. We did a show with a bunch of upcoming artists that were absolutely spectacular. I mean, Piper Butcher's one of them. She's touring with Wade at the moment. Not Wade, sorry. She just played with Wade at Strumming Bird, and then she's with Brad Cox at the moment. So like, I mean, that's I'm just name dropping her because she's with Brad at the moment. So, but
And she's great. I've interviewed her before. Like she's terrific. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Like all these artists were just fantastic, and it was just a really cool environment. It was at the Den Divine, a really cool venue. If you've been there, it's super funky. And yeah, it was just like it was a fantastic little festival, or I shouldn't say little, big festival that we got to be a part of. It's just been a really, really cool year for us. With new experiences and new festivals.
Yeah, like it is an extraordinary thing. Groundwater, from what I hear, I haven't been yet, but it sounds like you have plenty of motivation to return.
Oh, we're going back.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
They don't have a
If not,
choice.
if not for the country music, just because it's on the beach and Mudgee's nowhere near the beach.
That's true. For anyone who's not aware, you hail from Mudgee, which is in, I think technically we say Central West New South Wales, don't we, for Mudgee?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it is in the Central West. I also like to say the middle of nowhere. But it's somewhere.
Shame. It's look
It's
no.
not, you're not like out in the center like of Australia, like in the very center, but
But it has a very well developed wine industry. You are in fact playing New Year's Eve at Lowe's Wines, and I also saw that you're playing at Mortimer Wines in Orange coming up. Now, you happen to have written a song with a certain Robbie Mortimer, and I can't help thinking, given the Mortimer clan's presence in the area, that they're related.
You are assuming correctly, but we have to say that it is with James Keith. So a lot of people haven't connected the dots, and James Keith is actually Robbie's brother. So James Mortimer, or James Keith, is he's invited us to come and play with him. He's playing that show as well. And it's going to be an awesome time. I'm told that their wine is very good. I've had a few people say, hey, make sure you hit them up for a bottle for me. So I'll be going home with a boot full of wine, and they don't know it yet.
You haven't let James know.
Maybe this is the one time you do stay on site. You know, you sample the produce, you roll out the swag.
See, the thing is, if you're drunk enough, you really don't recognize that you're camping.
Look, I think we're turning this into a whole argument for Mac to try camping, whereas I will maintain that I'm not going to. So there you go. Let us move on now to your wonderful album, New Problems. And I'm going to start with the title song. What are the new problems?
So it's funny because sometimes we write songs before we have a concept. So we were driving on the road to Tamworth. I think it was on the road to Tamworth by memory. It might have been on.
It was either Tamworth or Port. It was one of the two.
It was a drive. Anyway, we were driving to a show, and as we were driving, I remember like saying, "Shah, hey, I've got this really cool like concept of a song, and I've got this sort of chord structure, and I kind of played him, and he was like, what if we like write this song about, you know, sort of like a heartbreak, but instead of dealing with a heartbreak, you fill your life with new little problems." And you just make your life about filling it up with these distractions from the heartbreak. And those new problems can be things like the song literally says where to lay down, where can I have a cold beer and find a road to drive down. Like it's like the stupidest little things that are not problems, but we make them problems just to fill our lives with them. And that's where this song kind of just like grew from. It was really, really cool. It was really fun to write. Sometimes we write super quickly. Like, I mean, this one just came alive in less than an hour, I reckon.
I think it took us 30 minutes.
Yeah, like about 30 minutes, literally. And then we had a whole song finished, done. And it was like, cool, now we have to do a gig, drive back, and then record this song.
I would imagine it's quite a lovely shorthand to have for the two of you, that it almost seems like that's just a natural process, like you're saying to each other, hey, what about this? And then it's there.
I would say the funny thing about that is like, when we're on the road, especially, we spend so much time together. You have to find some way to fill the time no matter what. So if you're going to write a song, why not write it in the time that you're driving as well?
That is absolutely true. We tend to we tend to get really bored driving if we're doing long distance drives, and a lot of songwriting happens because Shah will be like, hey, I've got this chorus, or I'll be like, oh, I've got this chord structure that I really like, or you know, it literally just like it'll come from us sitting there in silence for like 25 minutes, and then our ADHD brain's getting bored of that, and then having to do something.
But I also think it's because I'm very fond of saying it's good to let the field lie fallow when you want to engage in creative practice, because nature abhors a vacuum. So essentially, if you just let the brain go a bit idle, then it goes, hey, look at this. I would think the other good part about you both being in the car is that one of you can hold the voice memo recorder, the phone to record as a voice memo.
The other thing is,
to be fair, most songs start that way, don't they, Mac? To be fair.
Yeah, I get a really, really, he's so annoying. I get a really long, inconvenient voice memo note of him singing into his phone, but he sends it so that like for some reason it's only from Chardon's phone. I can't scrub, like I can't choose where to play from. I have to play it from the start. And if I pause it, it goes back to the start. So I have to sit through him going, for like 3 minutes before he gets to the point. I hate it.
So what, you basically get liner notes with the voice.
Yep. It's the worst.
I don't send him an email where he can actually download it and then listen to it properly. He only gets like messages, so he has to like listen to the whole thing.
And the worst part is I can't even download them and then put them on Spotify as like behind the scenes stuff so that I can like make fun of Chardon. Like they just exist on my phone and nowhere else.
Oh, that's great. Look, there's some kind of passcode wizardry going on clearly there. But I'm also interested that you called the album New Problems, even though the song has quite an upbeat feel to it, because the title suggests problems. But the whole album's mood overall, I think, is really uplifting. It's the sort of album you put on if you wanted to improve your mood, but also I think if you were having a great day, just wanted to keep it going. So, Mac, you said that you don't always have a concept before you start something, but did you have the feeling as you were starting to make this album that it was going to be overall a mood lifter?
It's funny because when I think of New Problems, I don't think of it as a negative song.
Right.
And I think that's what it's supposed to be. Is like it's sort of like I think we've got to look at life, and this is just in general with everyone. We've got to look at life in this positive aspect. We're all here. We're all living in the same world, and I think all of us are filling our lives with problems. I think we all have to shake some of them off. I think it's something that we all relate to, and New Problems is more about filling our lives with things that are actually enjoyable. It's actually trying to make light of something that can be a negative.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what the album really showcases for us. Is it showcases that we are all about enjoying life. We're about enjoying music.
Yeah.
We're about lifting people up, not bringing people down. And so that's what New Problems, the album, really is about.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always thought it was that really positive spin on the whole thing as well. So yeah.
And so, do you think that this is because I'm just thinking about the two of you as performers, because you have been performing since you were young, and necessarily in the life of an artist, there is rejection and difficulty and setbacks, and you had some personal setbacks quite young with your father dying. So I'm wondering if this is actually a philosophy that you feel has developed somewhat organically within your family, that you try to make the best of what's happening and not dwell on the negatives, or if it's something that and Shar, I'll start with you on this one, if you consciously have set out to be like this.
The thing is with our family, I don't think you're allowed to be really upset too often, because the thing is, because there is actually 4 brothers all around, and when we were growing up, yeah, you couldn't let yourself be sad, otherwise the other brothers would pick on you, kind of thing. It would be that kind of whole like brotherly vibe to be like get better and be stronger and kind of thing. But in a way, it also gave us this positive spin on how we want to view like what we write about as well. So I think, look, it's a really weird thing, because I don't know, like if you haven't had siblings, you don't really know that kind of feeling. But yeah, that's my spin on it in terms of like why I think we're such positive writers, is because we've had that upbringing together. So yeah.
So basically, joyousness enforced by thuggery.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I would actually, I mean, I would add to that by saying that we have had a lot of negative experiences, like not just in our like musician life, but in life in general. So like you said, like our dad passed away in 2006. And then moving through life, you have ups and downs, but also in a musical sense, we've had managers and we've had opportunities that didn't work out, and we've had record deals, and we've had rejection, and we've had we've been through everything. I mean, we've been through conversations with people where they've said that they love our music, but they don't want anything to do with it. And it's so true. Like, I mean, this is the world. And if you let yourself get hung up on that, I mean, imagine that 4 years ago when someone said, look, your music's great, but it's not good enough. Like it doesn't sound good enough. You guys are never going to get there. Imagine if we said, yeah, that's fair. Okay, we won't release it. Like, I mean, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have our own album, self-produced, self-mixed, self-written. Like we've got 11 songs that are just entirely us, that we've put everything together. And I think it's really important to look at the positives in life and keep on grinding. That's
exactly. And
we're about.
I was going to say as well, Mac, I was going to say like the hardest critic that we ever have to deal with is ourselves anyway. So I don't think that letting other people bring you down like that is like the best way to go about it anyway. Like you've already got yourself, so.
Well, and kind of the weird thing about it, of course, is people saying you're not going to make it, is you did make it when you were young. You were in a very successul band, so you know how to do it. You've actually it's that whole thing about winning is actually a bit of a muscle you can develop, and you have developed that muscle. And I can certainly hear in these songs, though, they're very accomplished songs, and that's why I said at the top it's your debut album as a duo, because you have released a lot of music together in the past. And I guess part of the secret to the magic of the album is how you harmonize together, and that's obviously something that you have been doing for a long time. But I don't want to presume that it's unconscious, that you can just snap into it and it's amazing. Sibling harmonies just work naturally. So there probably was initially quite a bit of work. I'm wondering if now there are ever times though where you have to actually stop and think, oh, how am I going to do that harmony with him?
There are times, especially in the studio. So a lot of the time when we're writing harmonies, we write them without an idea, if that makes sense. Like we'll just do them in the booth. We won't go and rehearse them. Like I'll have sung a song. We record everything individually. It's just how our studio is set up. So we'll record the guitar separately, to the drum, to the piano, to the vocal. Like everything is like individually. So the lead vocal will get recorded first out of all the vocals, and then the harmonies come after. And most of the time those harmonies are recorded one at a time. I say most because there are obviously exceptions. But basically, yeah. So like we make harmonies up on the spot, and it has taken a lot of time to get to the point where we don't have to think that much about harmonies. We can kind of just do them. But there are still times where, for example, I'll do a run and Chardon has to go, oh, okay, I actually have to change this. How does that going to happen? So there are times like that.
You have to make me work, basically.
Well, and also because Mac, I know you take the reins as a producer for most things, but Sean, does that mean you feel like? Well, no, actually, I don't think you would at all feel like you have to do what he says. Just my impression of the two of you.
To be fair, most of the time Mac is all right with his producing. He does okay, but then I'll come in and find something and I'll be like, that needs to be better. And he does it, to be fair to him, but it's that's usually the way it goes, to be honest.
Right. So you're like
sorry, what I would describe our dynamic as is one producer with two sets of ears. Like it's sort of like, it's a really cool outlook on it, because like, I sit there and I do a majority of the production and I listen to it for hours and hours and hours. But then he comes in and he goes, oh, what if this? And then it's just like another set of ears and another bunch of ideas.
I was going to say, to me, it sounds like that Shah takes an editorial role, which is a very valuable role. It's actually being able to hear those things that are missing. So, but yeah, producer with two ears sounds much more elegant.
I was talking to Mac about this the other day as well. Mac has really amazing relative pitch. I have perfect pitch. So I'm able to actually hear notes without. No, it's true though.
Is that like that backhanded way of saying, like, it's a backhanded compliment because you're basically saying, well, Mac doesn't have perfect pitch, right?
Basically, yeah. What he's done there is he's given a 3-year-old little handshake and then just gone bam across the face. Thanks, Chardon. Thanks, mate. I feel great.
So just for anyone who's not sure what happened there, Shah's basically saying that he can take the lead vocal and Mac will have to relatively harmonize with him, but the other way around is not going to work as well.
No.
Look, as long as you know where you stand, this is the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. He's the younger brother. He has to, fall in line, those things, Yes,
I can see that there's a lot of falling in line that goes on over and over again. So perhaps this is one of the simple things about the two of you as a duo. There's my segue to your latest single. This is the one that you wrote with Robbie Mortimer. Had you written with him before?
No, we had not. So Robbie lives in Orange. We live in Mudgee. So he's 2 hours away or just down the road in country terms. So he literally, we'd never written with him before. I've seen his music. Obviously, I've heard him. He's awesome. He's a great guy. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, mate, we're doing a new album. We're writing with a bunch of people. Would you like to write a song with us? And he was just all in from the word go, which I was not expecting because he's so busy. I mean, he was in Nashville at the time. Like he was literally in another country, and he texted me at 3 a.m. going, yeah, man. It's like, so yeah, no, it was really, really cool. It was a good experience. I mean, he's just a great guy.
Mm-hmm. I just realized, sorry, that's my Siri that's just butted in there that I haven't disconnected. I don't know what it's picked up on. But I will say that when you said that in country terms, Mudgee and Orange are just down the road from each other, that is how I think of them and how most people would refer to them. I think it's just down the road.
They're still 2.5 hours away though. So it's like if someone says, oh, can you drop me this off? It's still like, that's going to take me 5 hours return trip, but I guess so.
Just down the road. What are you worried about?
It's next door. What are you talking about?
There are like 3 turns, to be fair.
So just on the theme of the song is about simple things, but they're simple things that bring joy. So I'm interested in what for each of you are probably the most important simple things that bring you joy.
Joe, you can start.
Me? I think I have too many simple things because I'm a very simple person.
That's it. Enough said. Done. Right.
I think, to be honest, just somewhere peaceful. That's my simple thing. Somewhere peaceful where no one can distract me from what I just want to just sit by myself with my own thoughts, kind of thing,
Which is probably not as easy to achieve in this day
No,
and
but
age. One would
it's not.
think.
But when you get it, it's amazing.
Right. And Mac, for you?
Um, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of come to mind. A great thing I just love putting on a playlist when I'm driving,
Right.
and when a song pops up that you haven't heard in a while, and you sing every word of it, and it just feels awesome. You know, like that feeling of just I remember this, or it brings back memory of something as a kid. I remember like we used to listen to this Queen album when I was pretty young, and I remember sitting in the back of the set, like the very back. You know, we had this sort of like Kia Carnival style car.
There were 4 kids,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, there's 5 kids. We
Oh,
have a sister as well. Yeah.
right.
But she's gone, so it doesn't matter. She's in Abu Dhabi or something, so she's so she's gonna hear me and she's gonna like message me afterwards. But anyway, so I was sitting in the back and I remember reading like the words in the Queen album, like out of the little booklet in the middle, to the song "You're My Best Friend." And so like when that song comes on, it just takes me back, and that's like a simple thing in life, just reminiscing. Such a small simple thing that we probably overlook, but it's just a great memory.
And it's also amazing how it could just be pulled out of your memory,
Yeah.
basically. It's just
Yeah.
almost like it's in your cells. The song comes on
Mhm.
and out comes the memory.
Yeah.
Now, Shah, there were 2 songs that you wrote solo, from what I can tell, See You Smile and Better Now. And See You Smile has a good story behind it, because from what I understand, it was written on a guitar that you bought while traveling in Europe so you could play and write on the road. So clearly you do not take a holiday from songwriting. You left your guitars behind in Australia, but had to buy one.
Uh, it was quite funny, actually. I think that was in Poland where I bought that guitar. I could be wrong. Sad thing is, I had to leave the guitar over in Europe, but the person I gave it to would be very happy with it because I just randomly gave it to a random person. I was like, here, have that. But yeah, I wrote it, I think, one day. So I was traveling with my partner and we were going through the top of like a mountain in between, I think it was somewhere in like the Italian like Alps area near I can't remember, somewhere around there. And we stopped in this really peaceful like forest. And I just sat there for 2 or 3 hours and just sat and played and just came up with all the lyrics. It was just, I don't know, it just everything flowed together. And I think just the peace made it really easy to write. So well, yeah.
So when you were in Poland, did you just suddenly feel like, no, I do need a guitar?
Yeah. But the funny thing was, like, guitars weren't that expensive. I was like, okay, I'll just get one and just carried it around Europe with me, you know? So yeah,
You're a troubadour.
it was like $100 for like Australian dollars for a guitar, which was pretty decent quality. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I got it anyway.
Might have been made from good Polish wood.
Yeah.
And Better Now, what was the inspiration for that, behind that?
Well, that's a hard one because Better Now is actually a really sad song. Let's just I could just be really mean and say I wrote it about being sad at Mac, but that would be weird.
And also it's news to him by the look of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Best I'm hearing it.
No, I wrote that. I think I was just in one of my writing moods, and I was like, let me take on the perspective of a person that wants to view things from already being past that point of moving on. If you know what I mean? So things are better now that I am here, kind of thing, rather than I want to feel better now, if that makes sense. So yeah. And that theme just kept rolling into the next verse, next song. Like it made it really easy to write as well.
So do you tend to sometimes like to take on characters, almost, is what that sounds like? Yeah.
Yeah. I really like to take on the characteristics of where my songs are moving, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Interesting.
So he was not a lot of fun to talk to when he was writing that song.
Oh, right, because he was in the
Method
persona,
acting.
basically.
Method acting.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, Shah, that does suggest that yes, you take on the character and stay in character for as long as it takes to write the song.
I'm always in character.
All right.
My whole life is a lie.
I will say for the listeners/viewers, you do have a background in musical theatre, so
yes, I actually have a bachelor's degree in musical theatre, funnily enough. So yeah.
Yes, not just a background, but a bachelor's.
Yes.
So Mac, Amara's song is just so lovely. The first time I heard it, I just was like, oh my God, it's written for your eldest daughter. But you know, I have two daughters. So
I do.
I'm guessing this is perhaps an issue that's looming.
The touchy subject now.
So yeah, I wrote that for my daughter. I wrote it probably 6 weeks after she was born. So like the whole first verse is just about first meeting her and holding her, and then I mean, like it was amazing. Like I mean, everyone understands. Like it's such an amazing thing having a child. And then when my second daughter came, I remember the first thing I thought when I was holding her was, I've got to write you a song now. So, but there's one thing that my wife will not let me live down is in Amara's song at the end of the first verse it says um I picked you up.
Don't think it says,
I picked you up. I'll happily admit I don't think I'll love anybody more than you. Now I'm defending it saying I don't think.
You said think. Yeah, you did say think.
So and I mean I love both of my daughters equally. So I think the line is still valid. I think it's defendable, and I think that I can still write a really good song for my my second daughter, Estelle.
Yeah, but also at the time you only had the one. How were you to know? Like you had no comprehension of what
So
would
would
be
I.
like to meet child number two.
Exactly. And I mean, everyone knows, every parent knows that as soon as you have the second one, your heart literally grows. I mean, you can't comprehend loving anyone as much as your first child. And then as soon as you have your second child, your heart just doubles in size and you have room for two. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a divine song, and so everyone should go and listen to it and just have a tissue handy and keep having tissues handy, but in a lovely way. It's not a sad song at all. It's gorgeous. Now, Hourglass was written by you, Shar, with your older brother, Arlen. How did Matt feel about that?
This is the best story ever. So, Mac will never ever live this down. So, my brother and I, like my older brother, we're kind of like always trying to just one up Mac a little bit here and there. And my brother always makes the joke that he wants to like, I want to take a percentage of your songs and stuff like that, just for fun, just to egg Mac on. And so we decided to sit down and just like write a whole song in terms of lyrics and everything and all that. The very first line originally said it could have been as little as 1%. So that was the very first line. And we were like, because one of Mac's favorite artists is John Mayer. We wrote it in a style that kind of had that John Mayer flair to it, so that he'd be like, oh yeah, I really like this song, purposefully, so that he would record the song, start producing it, put a lot of work into it, so that he could not back out from the song, and find out later that Arlen had written 33% of the, well, he got 33%. So
the story being there is that it could have been as little as 1%. Arlen used to always ask, "Can I have 1% of that song?" Like every time we played him a song, he'd be like, "Can I have 1%?" And I'm like, "No, you've done nothing. No, you're not getting 1% of right." Like, no. And so when he wrote this song, the first line being, "It could have been as little as 1%," meant we could have given him 1%, but instead he got 33 and a third percent. They literally just tricked me into writing and producing a song so that he could get royalties. But it's a really good song. Like it's actually one of my favorite, if not like one of my favorite songs on the album. I absolutely love Hourglass. And I love that when I was actually recording it, the whole theme behind it that I thought was this sort of like literally trying to save a relationship by starting again and again and again. And so that's what I thought the song was about. Like, and that's what the song is about. But
it actually is about that, yes.
Yeah, there's this hilarious backstory about my brother just literally trying to steal 33% of a song. So yeah.
Well, and see, if you had just given him 1% of everything, it probably wouldn't have added up to 33%. So you know,
I know. Like
you probably wouldn't have got the song either, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it is a really bittersweet song. But again, like as the vocals kind of, I guess the vocals bring the sweetness to what could be some bitterness in the lyric, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a big thing about it, you know, like once again, it's very questioning. Like the whole song, like the whole chorus is like, let's turn it over, let's rip the page out. And it's a wonder that this relationship has never seemed to end. Should we quit or should we learn how to start again? Like that's the whole chorus is about this questioning of, can we start this relationship again? Can we fix it? And the whole metaphors in the verses, like if you literally read the lyrics as you go along, like there's some really poetic things. And it's like grain by grain, you build me up, but in the castles that we've built, you've smoked me out. Like that's, I mean, I love those lyrics because I didn't write them, so I can say that. But I just think that is so poetic and such a fantastic like metaphor for like someone helping you, but then trapping you. And I just think it's fantastic.
Well, I certainly hope that Shah wrote all the lyrics and that Alan
The
only wrote.
second, so Alan wrote quite a few in the bridge and like a fair few in the verses as well. But I can take credit for that line. So
Oh, no.
To be fair, I believe the old saying is write a word, get a third. So
yeah.
Yes, I have heard that some. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go. So I think perhaps a companion song to Simple Things may be Counting Clouds, which was written with Andy Penko. And this has already been released as a single, but I haven't spoken to you about it yet. So I am going to ask you the backstory to working with Andy and also where the concept for the song came from.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've bumped into Andy year after year at the People's Choice Awards in Tamworth, as Brothers 3 previously. And he was always there. I mean, he'd sing at a few of them, and we knew Andy was like doing the circuit. You know, he was working a lot. He was gigging. He flew over to Canada. He spent a year in Canada performing and writing albums and things over there. So he was always on our radar, but we'd never actually gone, hey, let's write with him. I mean, part of that would have been that when we first bumped into Andy, I would have been like 12. So we were like literally kids.
He probably would be like, who are these annoying people?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, to be fair, Andy's such a cool dude.
He probably wouldn't have. No, he would have been. He'd actually probably been like, nah.
Okay, sure. So with Andy, we reached out and said, hey mate, like we'd love to write a song, and we did. You know, he called us up over like literally over Messenger because he was in Queensland at the time, and Charter's in Sydney, and I was in Mudgee. And so we had this like conference call and we wrote Counting Clouds, and it was like he just listed off. He's like, here's some topics. What if we write about this or this or this or this? And he said the words kicking back, counting clouds. And I was like, that's it. Let's jump on that. Because I think the idea of having nothing to do and having nowhere to be and just kicking your feet back and looking at the clouds is the perfect song for us as a trio, like as Andy, Mac, and Shar. And so he jumped on the track with us. You know, he's actually in the song, so he's a feature in it. I shouldn't say feature; he's a collaborator in it. And it was just an awesome experience. You know, I mixed it all again from our studio. He sent his vocals over. It was a real collaborative effort. Really good fun.
So given that you, Mac and Shara, are used to being collaborators with each other, and obviously you had the Brothers 3 and there were 3 of you in that, but I'm wondering in terms of your dynamic as collaborators, just as a duo, whether you find it easy to collaborate with others or whether there is always a bit of adjustment because your dynamic is so strong.
There is this sort of almost, I wouldn't say fear, but nervousness when you're working with someone who you haven't worked with before. I mean, we've worked with a bunch of people over the last 6 months. I mean, we've worked with James Keith, I mentioned earlier, Andy, Robbie, Nathan Lamont, Liam Mahi, like a bunch of people we've been writing and working with behind the scenes. And every time, because you don't meet these people face to face every single time, but you see them over these calls and you're like, what are you going to be like? You know, how do we break down this wall between us and you, and how do we really get sort of expression into each other? But I think we're also, I mean, artists are also wacky in some way. You know, we're also artistic, that I think we relish in when other people give 100%. And so, like, you know, we see them doing their thing and we go, wow, that's awesome. Let's meet that energy. And then we're always picking each other up. So, yeah, I mean, it becomes easy after the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. I am very intrigued at the outcome of the Nathan Lamont and Liam Mahi collaborations.
There's some really, really good songs in there. They're not on this album because they didn't make production, but we are definitely looking at doing a deluxe edition. So keep your eyes on that. I mean, we are so excited for those ones.
Well, look, that is highly intriguing, and I shall keep my eyes open. But you finished this album, as it is at the moment, with a drinking song. Now, Shah, from what I understand, this was not originally part of the plan.
So the drinking song, funnily enough, we couldn't really work out a name for it as well. Just that's why it's called the drinking song. But I think it actually works in terms of what the song is. It's literally just about going to town and having as many drinks as you can. That was the whole like point
In
of this
fact,
song.
in part of the title in brackets says a whole keg of beer.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes,
I love it so much because I just think how ludicrous, how dumb is it that one person's like, I'm gonna drink a whole keg of beer. Like it's so ludicrous.
It's goals. It's hashtag goals.
Oh, it is. It is awesome. Like, I mean, anyone that listens to it, how can you not smile? It's so funny. It makes fun of itself, but in the best way possible. I just love it. Anyway, sorry.
my favorite line of the entire song is probably just dissing cruisers. Because I think that what's the words at the second verse? No champagne, no wine. That cruiser ain't mine. So basically, he's like, I don't want that. I want beer. I don't want whiskey. You know.
I'm a manly man drinking manly things. None of those cruises.
How dare you put sugar in my drink?
I only take yeast.
Yeah.
Well, it is a fun way to end an album that has a lot of emotion in it. I think it's kind of a nice way to wrap it up, because I also think out of the other songs, I don't know if you didn't have the drinking song to end it, I'm not sure which one you could have ended it on, if that makes sense, because
it always had to be the drinking song. And I mean, like, Shah didn't really touch on it, but it wasn't supposed to be on the album. Like, it wasn't supposed to make it. We wrote it just for fun. Like, we were just writing it. And Shah was like, let's write a drinking song.
The main reason I wanted to write it was for a live song, like to have it as at our gigs and be able to play it live for fun. Yeah. But then it just turned out to be so fun to play. We recorded it and we're like, oh, it sounds actually kind of good. So
on it goes.
It snuck its way on past like 12 other songs.
And it's actually a neat way to bring me back to mentioning your shows coming up, both of which are at vineyards, not breweries, I hasten to point out. But the New Year's Eve song, I'm intrigued, and I think I asked you about this a long time ago because you've had this booked in for a while, but I would think the potential in a New Year's Eve song for some random song requests is high. So do you have things in your back pocket?
I mean, like, we're open to everything. I mean, we will hear your requests. We will not guarantee we play them, but the funny thing is, we've been asked so many requests that we're like, yeah, we'll just give it a crack. It depends how drunk people are, because the more drunk the crowd is, the more you can get away with.
Yeah, right.
Someone did ask us to do a Lady Gaga song the last show we played. Like, they walked up to stage like with their phone, you know, and held it and said Lady Gaga, and I was like, are you calling me Lady Gaga, or do you want a Lady Gaga song? And they were like, no, we want a Lady Gaga song. I was like, do you see the two country men on stage in front of you? Like, we're lacking a little bit of the bedazzlement. So
we'll do country poker face. What is that? You know, country poker face.
Yeah. Oh, look, Bad Romance, I suppose, could lend itself to a country treatment. Hey,
I mean, I haven't told Sarden yet, but we absolutely should start doing some songs that are a little bit wacky. So Bad Romance, Sarden, you want to do Bad Romance?
Yeah, sure, why not?
We're doing your whole New Year's Eve set list right here, right now.
Yeah, right now.
So I'm going to ask each of you if there's a song that you would absolutely refuse to play if it were requested.
Wonderwall.
I feel like you may have answered this question before.
The hatred is strong.
I was so fast as well.
I don't think there's a song that I wouldn't play. I mean, I don't think there's one song that I'm like, I despise this song. Obviously Sharden has one.
Yes.
And it's an Oasis. I don't have one. I would say there's like a bunch of songs where people have, like I said, requested that I'm like, we can't really do that. I guess like any sort of like death metal song, I'd be like, maybe not. You know, like
I do know one that would give you PTSD though, Mac.
Is it Amnesia?
Nope.
Okay, because I don't actually know. There's my one. It's Amnesia by 5 Seconds of Summer. I refuse to do Amnesia.
Oh, true, yeah.
I refuse.
Well, Shah, what's the song you're thinking of?
Rock Around.
Oh, Rock Around the Clock. the story of this one is every single show, and I mean, this is bringing up Brother 3, but every single show, Taysom would always, at the end of the show, when people were like hyped up, going one more song, he'd always make Sharden sing Rock Around the Clock because he knew that we hated it.
Right.
Like it was just that, like the sibling throwing you under the bus.
Yeah,
that's it.
Joyousness enforced by thuggery. I'm going back to this theme. Yes.
There you go.
But Chai, I'm gonna like, of course, Oasis is a brothers band as well.
I've got nothing against them. I've just heard that song to death so many times that I just don't want to sing it. Please have mercy.
So anyone who is watching/listening, if you're going to Low Wines in Mudgee on New Year's Eve, please do not request Wonderwall unless you really want to bait Mak and Shar extremely.
Rage bait.
Well, there are plenty of other songs I could request, and they're on your album, and hopefully you will do some originals in the set.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like, I don't think there's ever been a show we've played without originals, so we're not going to break that tradition.
Considering we're at a winery, Mac, I would like to do the drinking song.
That is fair. Good point.
You might just need to tweak it slightly to give people permission to drink all the wine they want to.
That is true. That is true.
Well, look, it's a wonderful album. Congratulations. As I said at the top, if people want to lift their mood or reinforce an already great mood, I think it's a perfect album, but there's a lot of humanity and love and joy on there. So yeah, I really hope people enjoy it. Mak and Shar, it's been terrific to talk to you about your album. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve. I hope you continue to do many great collaborations. And oh, look, we have a provocation on the screen. No. For those of you who are listening, not watching, Mak is holding up a phone saying, "Sing Wonderwall."
No.
I'm going to leave you two to sort that out.
We're doing Wonderwall at New Year's Eve.
Oh!
Have fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.